So a couple days ago, it's about day 3, I got the center console off, and I'm going to work on filling all the millions of holes that have been drilled into this boat, and have to come up with my own holes later on. So I'm going to start on that. Also got the motor off the boat, which I'm excited about. That was a big feat. And we should be rocking and rolling soon. Alright, so I'm back at it. I kind of don't know exactly what to do. Working on this fiberglassing. I'll show you here in a minute. And it's easy. It's just time consuming. And there's a few things I still need to learn, like a lot. But I was able to do pretty decent in a couple spots. My first spot was terrible. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let me show you here. All right, so this is my first spot. I decided to go big on the first attempt just to put a backing onto the spot. It's terrible, super terrible. My second spot, not too shabby. And my third spot, pretty good. A little bit of fairing. I think it's going to turn out beautiful. Did another little spot over here, and that worked out pretty well too. It's pretty flat. I noticed some of these guys on YouTube, because that's where I get all my information nowadays, that they're using some fairing compound, and then they gel coat it. But for some reason, you know, my stuff's all sandable. This is not tacky. I didn't buy. I mean, this is laminating resin. But it's a couple days, so I feel like I just have to sand it. So I'm going to sand everything on this thing with this resin. I think it's going to stick better. Sand everything down before I do anything, unless I'm laminating it really, really fast, like within the same day or in the same setting, I think. But so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to work on this, work on that a little bit, and then I got a question for some of you guys. See if I'll get some followers to give me some help and some pointers. Let me show you that in a minute. I have this deal with the boat. I gotta ask some questions about. Gotta ask some people, because it's one of the things I'm going to work on, and I'm trying to learn what I should be doing as far as grinding and laying up and things like that. So on this front of the boat, somebody like ran it into 10, 20, 30 ducks, or they kept putting on this stupid ugly trailer and running it up and hitting something. Like maybe one of these rollers was bad at the time. And let me see if I can help you move this over here. Let's see. I want to get that all cleaned up. I'm going to work on that a little bit at a time. But what they did was filled it with silicone. So I wanted to ask somebody and say, hey, how do I get the silicone out of there? I don't know what the options are. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Some other work to do. The back of the boats. What can I say? It's kind of a derelict. Got a lot of work to do. There's a little bit of damage up here, but gotta work on my YouTube skills. A little bit of damage up there. I pulled some pieces out of it, but it's really just the fiberglass, and it's oily. So I'm going to grind all that away and redo it with fiberglass. And there's obviously all of this issue. So we'll see how it turns out. I don't know, I had somebody else look at it and he said it's pretty solid, so it should be fine. Yeah, so that's the deck, everybody. I love it. Should be fun. Oh, and if you're hearing something in the background, it's right there. Flying through the sky. Just never wants to go away. I don't know who he's looking for. Or maybe she. Alright, I'm going to wipe this down with some acetone. Alright, got that. Wipe down this other piece in case I dive in and try to fill some of these over. Alright, looks good. Let's see how it goes. Also, I think it's silver bullet time. Alright, so I'm going to mix a little bit of this up. See if I can wet this out. Need to buy some smaller brushes. I think these are a little too big. Almost. A little bit of matte for that. some bad voids. So use this a little bit more as filler. So I found that if I wipe some of this resin away, it's a little easier to sand later. And then I'm going to ferret so what I tried to do right here was fill some of these areas, but I think I got to use that roller and roll it out. I mean, it's going to be plenty strong for just covering up a few holes. I'm not too worried about it. Sucker's a little big though. Oh, this is kind of crappy. Doesn't want to roll. Well, that's shnikes. Shoot. Doesn't want to roll. Oh, I gotta see if I can fix that. Alright, I'm back. It does work a little bit better. There you go. Oh, that's working a little bit better. This was a crappy job. Got it all messed up. Alright. Okay, we're good to go. Alright, that's going to set up. Once that sets up, I'm going to thicken some of this and go right over it. Fill it in. I'll do this hole last because it's a little harder. I got to get up in there. This is actually a cooler right here for this boat. I'll show you the original ad, which is awesome. I got the entire thing filled with Budweiser, which I'm not drinking, but I do think the ad is awesome because 1970, pre-2023 DM issue. So awesome. All right, catch you on the next one. So if you guys want to know what I purchased, I went to this place down over Costa Mesa called RevChem Composites. Place is awesome. Guys were great. Let me show you what I purchased here. So this is it. RevChem Composites. It's their house GP laminate, 17 to 20 minute gel time. With the ratio that I've been using, it seems to be gelling quicker. It's a little warm right now. I do have the fan on by it, but I think it's gelling probably more in like that 12 to 15 minutes. So I got to figure that out. I got to do a little test. I mean, for what I'm doing right now, I figured out that I can just put 3 ounces, maybe 2.5 ounces of this stuff in a cup. The lowest they have is 5 ounces. It's 5 ounces to 2.5 cc's. So I'm doing like 3 ounces with, 1.5 cc's. I bet you probably sometimes it's a little more, or maybe a little less, but it's 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, and it's totally fine. In fact, it gets a little easier when it's starting to gel, not when it's gelled. It doesn't work at all. But when it's starting to, the stuff really wants to stick down and work, because it only gels inside the cup. If I was to pour it all out, it would stay sticky. It stay sticky for a long time, but it only gels when it's all together in one spot. So anyways, place was great. They offer a lot of stuff. They have all that. I purchased the 1708, purchased the chop strand mat over there. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, this is a little thing they gave us. They circled it for me. I'll show you here. 32 ounce, so 1 quart, 10 cc. So I just did this thing called math, and yeah, went down. The smallest they have right there is 5 ounces. So for resin, it's 2 cc's. Yeah, I was off. Not 2.5. It's 2 cc's. So maybe I'm giving a little bit too much catalyst, but it seems to be working fine. It's not rocket science. Anyways, oh, I also did buy some of this, what the internet calls death powder. Not going to let it get into my lungs, apparently. So this is the Cabacil treated fumed silica. Gosh, this stuff is really powdery. I mean, it doesn't even weigh anything. It's crazy. It's freaking expensive too. $9.50 for this thing for like air. So I don't know. One of my friends said that there's some other stuff I could use that might be a little stronger than this. This is not really that strong. Oh, and I wrote my own warning label. Do not open without a face respirator on. Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to let this set up. And once it gets a little tackier, I'm going to scrape some of this off. Scrape some of that extra off. And then just sand it real nice. And then I'm going to thicken it and use it as a kind of like a filler. See how that works and see if I can get this pretty clean. Once I figure this side out, then I'm going to go over here and start working on some of the big dogs. This is where the original compass was, of which I don't have. I tried to find one on eBay. I couldn't find one, so I'm going to cover it up and use it for something else. This is, like I said, this is the original ice chest, which is kind of neat. Drains out, actually drains outside the boat. So I have a couple options. I can leave it, or I thought about cutting it out and just throwing like a nice cooler in there, like maybe like a Cool Yeti or something, because apparently that's cool. But I'd probably say screw that and buy like an off-brand, because I think that's cooler. And or some type of cool box in there for storage. But I will say, it's kind of cool having beers within, barley pops, like drinks, like water and stuff. I was just kidding. You can't put anything in here but some water, because you're driving. This little puppy may be staying.
Freedom.